I flipped it over so we can get on with this thing. Right then, I've just finished editing and uploading part 1 for this fella. I'm going to part 2 now, in which we shall be priming all these things ready for building, oh my word, R2-D2, which is the reason why we're all here, to be honest. Yes, I know. By now I've got a funny feeling you've all shouted at your TV and your computer and your laptop and your smartphone and go, what do you mean you've only built this thing and you're making me wait for R2? Well, yeah. In doing so, I've got a better idea now of where we need to paint and what we need to paint on R2 himself. There was a madness in my method. So I'm just going to quickly run off and tidy these things up, and then we'll get the paint on. And eventually, the noisiest compressor in the bloody world finishes compressing its air. Right. So, what we are going to do is, in our airbrush, let's get rid of that hose a second, so I can bring you over in front of the camera. In our airbrush, we're going to mix with the thinner first. Don't make the mistake we made last time. Good squirt. We're going to mix it roughly, give or take, half and half, with Sammy's XF-54, and I'm choosing XF-54 because it's a medium grey and I've got loads of it. It's not exact, it's only a rough 50-50. About there I should do. Ooh, that's smelly. Why is that smelly? And then we give it a mix, like so, with a grubby old brush that we don't mind making a mess of. And then connect the air hose. And then just be on the safe side, tiny little mix with the airflow. Let's have at it. So off camera, I've got a little box like so. It's actually the box for R2 itself. I'm just giving a quick blow through, just to make sure that everything's where it should be, and we've run the thinner through. So I'll leave that down there, and what we're basically going to do, it's easiest for me to show you on the white. I'll be repeating this with the other colours as well. It just shows it better on the white. It's literally just in the back of the hand. Just running around with a very light coat, just to get some paint on there. It'll probably take about 2 or 3 coats, very lightly done. Like so. So we'll leave that there to air dry for a few minutes, and I'll crack on and get the rest of these frames sorted out with my extractor turned on, because it's getting quite smoky in here at the moment, and I would recommend ventilation if you're doing this kind of thing indoors. So I will time lapse this bit for you. That's basically what you just seen. See you in a minute. And there we go. All lovely and primed and ready for being cut away and filed and reprimed and things like that. So there's going to be a little bit of touching up. Stop it to do, but we'll worry about that later. Right, leave that for an hour. For an hour. You listening? Oh, looks like it's crying. So, already in the airbrush we have our X20A thinner. We're going to go through the same process we did earlier with the grey. So we've got a drop in there already, and then we're going in with the XF16 aluminium, roughly 50-50 again, roughly-ish, kind of. Again, nothing too precise. It's in the general direction of. I'm hoping you heard me over the noise of that compressor. So I'll give that a quick zhuzhing. So I'm using that zhuzhing thing again, and I don't know what it means. Oh, yes I do. Apparently it's a brand of, I think it was Fake Tan or something like that. I don't know. It's something my girlfriend told me. And then just cover the cap and do a little blow through, or blow back even, just to mix it again. Now, slightly different plan this time. We're actually going to go with a metallic finish to the blue. So all these blue parts here, I'm actually going to paint in the aluminium first, and then we'll branch off and do two separate things. So everything's getting a coat of the aluminium for now. I'll turn the extract heat on and I'll see you at the other side of the time lapse. Okay, so just as a maybe, I've painted inside these little hatches just in case we need to add some colour in there. But because these panels are going in blue, I will be painting these panels rather than using the decals. We're giving it the same treatment that the blue colour is going to get as well. So it's got a like a pre-shade, if you like, of the silver. There's a reason for this. We'll get there eventually. Right then. So for now, we're going to satin coat. Once the aluminium's dry, we're going to satin coat that to protect it. Fox knows where I'm going with this already, I think. The other stuff, all this lovely stuff here, we're going to give that a gloss coat of some description. Not too sure which one yet. I'll point that out when I get there. Main thing is this has got to dry now for about an hour again before I can do anything. Now then, in the cup I've already dropped in some X20A just to soften things up again. But if you have a look around the edge of the cup here, where I've been a bit grubby and not as careful, I don't know if you can make that out. It goes all stringy, the XF16, when you start hitting it with the thinners as it's drying. So if you just use that tiny little bit of thinner that's in the bottom of the cup now, just to loosen everything up again. But do not blow this through, otherwise you'll get it stuck in your needle. So just get everything nice and loose. Get some kitchen roll or some of this blue roll if you have it, or something like that. Tip it into the cup. And being very careful you don't spill everything. Hopefully the kitchen roll would have taken care of everything first. But that's a lot better now. And right down at the bottom there you can still see gribbles. Horrible nasties. So, a bit more thinner. Where's my brush gone? There's my brush. And get right at the bottom. Again, don't blow this through. You can see straight away how metallic it's gone. Connect it back to your power line. Power line? Air line. If you've not been connected already. Stick your finger over the end and very gently blow through again so you get the bubbles. And that'll loosen everything up. And again, don't blow it through. Get your cloth, not cloth, tissue, or kitchen roll or whatever it is you're using. Straight back in again, let it soak up. Tip it upside down. Trust me, I have gunked up an airbrush many a time because I've blown it through rather than soak it back like this. There we go. All gone. Tiny bit more. Let's see what comes back. Come right back on the trigger as well. Just use a tiny little bit of air. He says. There we go. I've still got some silver in there, but we're okay. That should be able to blow through now. If you haven't got one of these contraptions to catch all your whatever it is you're blowing through after you've cleaned up, then very carefully have a cup or something like that and put a plastic bag inside and blow into the plastic bag. It does the exact same thing. And then as we cotton bud, very carefully wet the end of your cotton bud. It's not easy to do that when you're watching this through the back of the camera. Get your head to the side, Tony. Do it properly. Just give your needle a quick wipe. Wash his face. And then wash the inside of your crown. Just to take care of everything. Pull the needle back so you don't bend it as you put that back on. Quick wipe, and then with the dry end, quick swizzle. I'm good to go with the next colour now. Which we can't do because all that's got to dry. So, when we come back, after all this is dried, then I've moved it, haven't I? I've tidied up since. Talk amongst yourselves while I go and find my varnish. Yeah, right then, we'll be using this one for the domes and all the metallic parts, like those. So we're using that so we can start doing the gunk wash and things like that, and then we're going to seal all the blue parts. All these things that we've painted silver, we're going to be sealing that with a couple of coats of this stuff, the satin varnish. It dries slightly matter. If you watch the ATST build, you'll know what I was talking about. If you didn't get to see those, where were you? Don't panic, don't panic. You'll see it when it goes on here in an hour or so. And then we're going to branch off and do a couple of different things. Yes. And then I'm actually going to use some white paint. Whoa. God, I hate using white paint. White paint for me isn't natural at all. There is no such thing as black, and there is no such thing as white in nature. It's a man-made thing. And I'm going to have to use white. But, first of all, we'll have to go back and prime some of these where we've missed. So that should be fun. The best plot. Oh, hang on, try that again. The best laid plans of mice and men, or something. I used to know that one. Nuki Duke. I'll try something slightly different this time. Something I've not tried for a while. Which is, yes, this stuff. Now, it does smell like cat wee. If you get any masking fluid or anything like that, it's latex based and it stinks. So definitely use this with a window open or with an extractor blowing away in the background. Now, for me, I've got the window open and I'm hoping that's okay. And basically what we're going to do now is, on the R2 body itself where I sprayed the silver inside the hatches, I'm actually going to mask that with the fluid. And then all these blue parts that are painted silver, I'm going to dot and dab tiny little bits around some of the edges and things like that, so that when we come back with the blue and go over, we can take the masking fluid away and have some chips underneath. Hopefully. So definitely don't use your best brush for this either. Use something that's going to get you into the nooks and crannies, or the crooks and nannies, things like that. Something you don't mind breaking. Oh, right, that's gone solid. Look at that. Yep, that can go. Yep, you'll do. You'll do nicely. Now work quickly with this if you can as well, because it does tend to dry up quite quickly. Gets off. Just let dry case off. Bashing it in. Don't be shy, get it in there. So we come to paint this body white. We can peel this away afterwards and reveal the silver underneath. That's the idea anyway. And if this doesn't work, you won't be able to see this clip because I won't have filmed it. I'll have edited it out. So that's that one. That's it, don't be shy. Get it in. Get it on. Don't forget these panels either. Like I nearly did just then. Because we need that silver base for the blue we'll be painting on there. Like so. That's actually not as bad as it used to be. I did have some purple stuff from another company that absolutely reeked. That's a little bit more gentle. It still smells, but it's not as bad as the other companies. It was just nasty. So we're just going to put the odd dots and dabs here and there, just on the extreme edges. I'm actually going to put some on these parts here. They're going to be silver anyway. Yeah, then. Get that way around. And this is why I built the R5 first, so I can figure out what goes where, because this piece near now actually goes that way, so that part there is actually going to be blue underneath, so I'm not too bothered about that. It's just things like these edges. Nothing major. Just where it gets dinked every now and then. That's overshowing, doesn't it? Get carried away again. And then what we can do as well, if this doesn't turn out to be as much as it needs to be with the scratches and stuff like that, we can also come back with a pin. Just do some more bits and bobs. I'm just realised I'm not wearing my glasses again. I'm wondering why my eyes are going, I can't see! Try and keep this random too. We don't want anything that looks too regular. Because otherwise it looks really, really obvious and doesn't look natural. It's too much, and then if it is too much you can wipe it away with your finger. That should do us for there. Get this blue leg. You probably see there where it bubbles when you give it a rub with your finger. So there we go. Right, we'll give that an hour or so. An hour or so. It's been a long day at work, it really was. Dealing with silly people. Silly people being doctors. Never ceases to amaze me. People like that who are really clever and go away in university and stuff like that and learn really ridiculously clever things have very little common sense. What's that about? I really don't understand. However, that's work. This is here. Let's concentrate on this thing. We're being hobbyists. We're in our happy place. We're not worrying about work anymore. That's why we have hobbies. To distract ourselves. Right then. Stop me nonsense. Get on with this. Once these things are dried, in here and here, we're going to go in with white. No pre-shading this time. Nope, no pre-shade. We'll be doing that with the gunk wash. Yes, the gunk wash. So, I'm going to start building some of these into little sub-assemblies so I can figure out what needs to go where and things like that, and I can get most of the legs sorted out, pardon me, and get this sensor leg together and things like that. I shall be back in a moment. One of the handiest bits of kit you'll have eventually in your arsenal is a lump of polystyrene, so you can do that. It's great. So we're building sub-assemblies at the moment, and just for the sake of not repeating myself with a build, I've gone ahead and jumped. No, hang on. I've gone and jumped ahead of you. There we go. That's more like it. So we've got mini sub-assemblies for the legs, and I've just realised I put the feet on the wrong way around. Or have I? No, I haven't. Nope, that's okay. Phew, don't do that. So we've got the top half of the leg without the greeblies inside. So this is basically all the white parts that we're building. So we've jumped ahead without all the silver parts. Use the same size, that'll do. There we go. So we've not got the silver parts inside, and we've left this blue part out as well, so that we can paint these white. Now if you have a look around it, where I've missed with the grey primer because of how it was attached to the frames, it doesn't matter anyway, because you've still got to prime this if you're going to paint it. So it doesn't matter if you do it on the frames or off the frames, we've still got to paint. But this gives me a better idea now of where we've missed and where we need to hit. So we're going to very gently get into these little crooks and nannies. See, I got it right this time. So I'm going to make some more primer, and I'll be back in a second. Ooh, I've had a slight panic. I wasn't too sure I had the right shade of blue after all this. I've just been rooting through my collection and had a massive panic attack. So, thanks to Rob and Graham for your help on this one, lads. And Fox, eventually, when I think you wake up or something from your nap, because you're at that kind of age now. I'm going to go with the Vallejo French Blue from the Model Air range. Just about make out there, I do the stuff so we can focus on this. That's the normal kit plastic, you can tell that because it's still shiny from where it was all moulded. On the right hand side is the French Blue itself over the blue plastic on its own, so it's pretty much a close match. But if we look here now, I've got the XF16 base coat there with the French Blue over the top. It's pretty close for what I'm actually after, and in this scale as well, it's not going to be too far off the mark. If we compare it with the R5 kit, come on, focus. It's a more natural blue over the XF16 than just the blue plastic on its own. So I'm going to go with that. And yes, I will eventually be taking this fella apart and repainting him, because it's a bit toy-like and it's not quite what I'm after. So sorry R5. Oh dear. And so we're waiting for the compressor to finish so I can explain what I'm doing, which is changing and stuff if you watch it. We're back at the air booth, this thing, and we've got the blue loaded ready. Will you shush? So what I'm going to do is, as you can probably see there, it's still attached to the frames anyway, so that will definitely need sorting out afterwards. But we'll do that when we get to it. Same with all these little pieces here. I just want to get the blue on for the time being and then see where we are. And we're literally just going to ghost it on. Thank you. So it's little tiny bits of brushy on the trigger itself, and then a little bit, tiny little bit back. Just not too much, so that we're going to end up with a really light spray like that. And we're just going to build it up in tiny little layers. Oops. Blast. got that right. And that was literally 6 drops with this stuff. Lovely, 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 lovely. Right then, we're going to call it a night there, and I'm going to go cobble this together so I can upload it for you. Basically that's where we're at now. Let's get my bits box back. Bits box. That's not easy to say that. So, we have primed white parts ready for the white tomorrow, and we've got all the silver done with XF16. They've been gloss coated. Oh, get that out of the way safely without knocking everything over. And we've got the XF16 blue parts painted with French blue from a Model Air range, waiting to dry, and then we can varnish those and start weathering and things like that. So join me for part 3 and we'll start bringing all this together. As always, thank you so much for watching and taking part with me and being on this journey with me through my nerdiness, hopefully inspiring your nerdiness too. And Rob, Graham and Foxy Lad, thank you so much for your help tonight. Was really appreciated. Take care guys, I'll see you in part 3.